During a violent weekend across the city of Indianapolis, the largest mass shooting in more than a decade occurred. That's according to IMPD. And now a northeast neighborhood is left picking up the pieces after a mass murder left 6 people dead, including an unborn child. Police are now looking for answers, as well as so many others.
This is a shock. This is a shocker, a big shocker.
A shock to this entire northeast Indianapolis neighborhood. 6 people, including a pregnant woman and her unborn child, found dead in this home on Adams Street.
First for the family, my heart is sad.
Indianapolis Metropolitan Police say information gathered at another call just blocks away involving a juvenile male on East 36th Street led them to the Adams Street home. As of Sunday, police say the shooting did not appear random. Reverend Alan Bailey agrees things need to change.
And we're doing too much reacting and not proactive.
The community activists arrived on scene to help family and friends around 5 a.m. and stayed outside in the snow and cold for hours, hoping to bring some sort of unity to this tragedy.
We lost that neighborhood connection, that neighbor love connection. And if I can bring out that message that we need to start going back to that, finding out what we can do for our neighbor, whether it's elder or young. We have that responsibility.
Reverend, where do we go from here? How do we go from here?
I wish I had an answer. But at the present time, seeing all of this, I'm praying and asking God for an answer.
Father, the violence that we have seen over the course of the last 24 hours has been nothing less than disturbing. It's been scary.
At IMPD North District headquarters, prayers began at Sunday's press conference. Heartbroken, angry, and frustrated are the 3 words the IMPD chief says he's feeling about this incident. But he says he is also determined to find those responsible for this crime.
We've got to come together as a community, working hand in hand in order to stop this violence, because this is a terrible event, obviously. But you know our murder numbers were high last year. We don't want to see that repeat this year.
Mayor Joe Hogsett adding this mass murder is different than the other acts of violence the city's seen during the pandemic. He says anyone involved in this crime will be brought to justice.
I want those responsible to know that the full might of local, state, and federal law enforcement are coming for them as I speak.
At this time, police say there is no motive and there are no suspects, but it is possible, they say, that there is more than one shooter. They are urging anyone with any information to contact Crime Stoppers or the IMPD Homicide Office. We have those numbers on our website.
Tino, we begin with the new information coming in tonight about the mass shooting on the northeast side of Indianapolis that left 5 people and an unborn baby dead. IMPD reports that officers have arrested a 17-year-old boy on initial charges of murder and intentional manslaughter with a handgun and attempted murder. This is all for the shooting at a home at 35th and Adams. WRTV Investigates has learned the 17-year-old is a family member of at least 4 of the victims. Police have not released his name because he is a juvenile. We also need to note the Marion County Prosecutor's Office has not announced official charges. And tonight, we are learning the circumstances surrounding the shooting and more about that 17-year-old. We will get to that update in just a moment. But first, let's focus on the victims. The boy is accused of killing 42-year-old Kezzie Childs, 42-year-old Raymond Childs Jr., 18-year-old Elijah Childs, 13-year-old Rita Childs, 19-year-old Kara Hawkins, and her unborn baby. We have team coverage on the new developments coming in on this case. We begin with Stephanie Wade, who is learning more about the victims tonight. Stephanie.
Several friends of the family and people who didn't even know the victims came to pay their respects after 4 family members, a woman and her unborn baby, were killed inside this home early Sunday morning.
And I want to come by here and tell this family I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Disbelief. I've been heartbroken since I heard it because this doesn't make sense. It's senseless.
Longtime friends of 42-year-old Kezzie Childs, dating back to high school in Gary, Indiana, India Hammond and Anastasia Dittman, came by the home today where their friend, her husband, 2 children, and a pregnant woman and her unborn baby were killed.
She was just a wonderful woman, wonderful mother, soon to be grandmother. She was just, even the family, everyone was just great.
When I tell you that I got a lot of messages yesterday because of how close we were, I took it bad.
Hammond tells me she spoke to a surviving son in the child's family. She says he and others are trying to cope as best they can.
They're good people. I don't know why this took place. I don't know what led to it. I'm very sure people are going to assume whatever it is that they want to assume. But the bottom line is they didn't deserve this. They were good people. I know her heart. I know how she was raised. She was a good person. This was uncalled for.
The word is on the street is this: we tired of it. The real original OGs. We are tired of this senseless killing.
Those in the community just as frustrated.
I don't care if they hire 10,000 police here in this little city. They can't be everywhere at the same time. But we as citizens, y'all, me, people who want to live that life and tired of this, because this could be your family. We need to bond together, stop talking about it, and start being about it.
It needs to stop. And I understand that the police can only do so much, but then you know what? The resources or whatever that they need to do needs to really get put into Indianapolis so that we can get this under control.
Leaving a teddy bear at the front doorstep.
Just coming to show my support, my love, let them know that I'm still here. Even though they're not with us, they're still with us. Even the baby, everyone.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
It's also heartbreaking. Our team coverage continues now with WRTV Investigates Rafael Sanchez with the details on this developing story. Rafael.
Heartbreaking indeed, Amanda. Good evening to you. A 17-year-old boy, apparently upset with his father, is accused of this heinous act in which he opened gunfire on 6 people inside of their home. Only a teenage brother who was also shot survived this vicious attack. Now at 6 p.m., I can tell you what WRTV Investigates has learned. That the 17-year-old boy suspect got in trouble for leaving his home without permission. His father reportedly warned that he was going to get in trouble. It is not clear how long after that exchange that the teen is accused of going on that shooting spree on Sunday morning at 35th and Adams. It apparently began upstairs before 4 in the morning, continued downstairs before the suspect ran from the home. As neighbors woke up to the echoes of gunfire, police found members of the teen's family shot and killed. Medics rushed a pregnant woman to Eskenazi Health, hoping to save the woman and her unborn baby child. Both were pronounced dead after 5 in the morning. The 17-year-old is being held tonight on a charge of murder and attempted murder. Those are not formal criminal charges. That will be up to the Marion County prosecutor to announce sometime this week. A message of hope for a family that is devastated tonight. In this latest case, the 17-year-old is believed to be the only suspect involved in this latest mass shooting.
Local leaders say it was so important to make a quick arrest in this case.
This is just the first step in getting these victims and the family members justice.
The first step in a long road ahead.
The community is traumatized by this. There are people that have lived there their whole life, that there are people that have to go back there in that neighborhood, and they want to make sure that they know that they're safe.
And now, with an arrest coming just 24 hours after the shooting, police say they are. We know numerous agencies were involved in this investigation, and more than 60 IMPD officers worked it, all as the city of Indianapolis wrapped up another record-breaking year when it comes to the number of homicides.
Until we start addressing the issues of the heart in our community, we will never get a hold of this. Obviously, we've got a lot to do to fix the criminal justice system.
Rick Snyder with the Indianapolis Fraternal Order of Police says he hopes the same strong approach taken in this case is used on other instances of violence in our city. Meanwhile, leaders with IMPD saying they will do everything they can to see there's justice for this family and a teenager who was in the home and survived the shooting.
We have a 16-year-old victim who suffered a traumatic incident, and we as a community need to wrap our arms around this young man as well. He's going to have a lot of things to worry and think about the rest of his life.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
And today, Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett released this statement about the arrest in this mass shooting case. He says, quote, "Today's announcement is the first step toward justice for the senseless acts that cut short the lives of 6 of our neighbors in the early hours of Sunday morning. While nothing can bring back the child's family, I hope that the swift action of the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department offers some comfort to all of those who have been left to grapple with this tragic loss."
A community is in shock, and there are so many unanswered questions tonight. What happened inside a Northeast Side home, and why did 6 people, including an unborn baby, lose their lives? When the emergency call from Adams Street gives us an idea of what investigators found when they arrived at the scene. Remember, they were tipped off about something happening there as they investigated another shooting nearby on 36th Street.
We've got an open door over here. Can you start 2 more cars fast, please?
We need EMS at this location. We have 3 shot. All 3 are 10-0. We need them here to confirm, and I need more cars here at the scene. Next car is arriving. Start putting tape up around this house, please. I want the perimeter big. Start as animal control, please. We'll just need them to stage. We have a couple areas of the residents we're unable to check due to a dog. Control out of 9. Update the cab. We have 5 victims.
Can we confirm that 4 are 10-0, or can you advise for the staff pages and for PIO?
I can't confirm yet.
Control corner 14, did they give a condition on that? Won't be in transport.
Extremely critical.
An Indianapolis teen accused of shooting family members now faces 6 counts of murder. Police say 17-year-old Raymond Childs III was arrested Monday and charged as an adult. Investigators say Childs killed 4 members of his family, his brother's girlfriend, and her unborn child. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office has charged him with those 6 counts of murder, 1 count of attempted murder, and carrying a handgun without a license. Only 1 person survived that shooting, and that was Childs' 15-year-old brother. He told police there was an argument between his older brother and their father.
And a family member tells News 8 the son of Raymond Childs Jr. is the 17-year-old that was arrested for killing 6 people inside an East Side home.
Just a horrific story. News 8 Sierra Hignite is here now with the latest developments. Sierra?
Yeah, I got off the phone with that family member just a few moments ago. They tell me that 17-year-old is believed to be the only person responsible for the murder of the Childs family and the death of a pregnant woman on Adams Street. It was another source close to the family who confirmed there was a fight inside of an East Side house before 6 people there were killed. Now, those killed in the shooting have been identified as 42-year-old Kezzy and Raymond Childs Jr., who are the parents of the household, 13-year-old Rita Childs, 18-year-old Elijah Childs, and 19-year-old Kiara Hawkins, who was pregnant with Elijah's child. Hawkins and her baby boy died at the hospital. Police discovered the bodies after they found a teen boy who had been shot walking on East 36th Street. A family friend tells News 8 that the teen was also a son of Kezzy and Raymond Childs. Police say that the boy led them to a home on Adams Street. Now, it's still not clear what the fight was over that led the 17-year-old to shoot and kill his family.
I knew that young man, the young man who supposedly been arrested. I don't know what didn't happen with him, but I knew him from the music scene, the music industry with my son from a couple years back.
I don't know what goes through a person's mind. I don't know what kind of lie they listen to in their head that would tell them that pulling the trigger on anybody, but especially on this many people, is the right thing to do. I don't think I really want to know, to be honest with you.
We are expecting police to release more information on this investigation later in the week. It's likely that the 17-year-old will be tried as an adult as he faces possible murder charges for all 6 of those killed.
Mayor Joe Hogsett issuing this following statement. While nothing can bring back the child's family, I hope that the swift action of the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department offers some comfort to all of those who have been left to grapple with this tragic loss.
Childs was tried for the murder earlier this year, but the judge declared a mistrial over something that was said during witness testimony. Now attorneys are back in court again, combing through the details from that early morning back in 2021. Raymond Childs III sat in court once again, listening to the prosecutor and his defense attorney lay out the gruesome details of his family's murder. It happened in the early morning hours back in January 2021. The prosecution says the shooting started upstairs.
He shot his brother once in the back of the head as he was watching television. Next to Elijah in bed was Elijah's girlfriend, Kiara Hawkins. The defendant shot her once through her right ear.
Kiera was 9 months pregnant at the time. The prosecution says Child's 13-year-old sister died next.
He shot her once in the chest and left her for dead on the floor of her bedroom.
Then the prosecution says Childs III went to the basement where his parents were and allegedly killed them too.
I love you, Raymond. Were the last words of Raymond Childs II.
And the prosecution says Childs didn't know it, but his younger brother was also in the basement at the time of the shooting.
He watched as his brother went into the basement. He heard the brief struggle. He heard his father's last words. And he heard the gunshots.
The prosecution team says the younger brother escaped the house but was allegedly chased down the street and shot. Officers say they talked to the younger brother before he went into surgery and asked him who fired the shot. Investigators say the teenager told them.
My brother, Raymond Ronald Lee Childs III.
But Childs III defense team says he was not at the house that night. They say he was at his girlfriend's house after being kicked out by his dad. And they say 2 guns were used, suggesting 2 shooters. They allege Childs III is in court because of a misguided investigation and misidentification.
First, when he talked to the officers, he said he couldn't be sure who the perpetrator was. He also used the word they when referencing the shooters. And he couldn't be sure that he saw his brother with a gun that night. Both weapons were used upstairs and both weapons were used downstairs, inconsistent with there being just one shooter. You'll also see no physical evidence tying Raymond Childs III to those weapons. No fingerprints, no DNA.
I'm not no killer, I'm not no murderer, I'm not no bad person. And a lot of people aren't.
These are deadly shootings that happened more than 4 years ago inside the family home that's located here in Indianapolis out on the east side.
Takes us into the courtroom to hear from the families destroyed by this mass murder.
Raymond Childs III was just 17 years old in January 2021 when 6 people were shot and killed inside this home on Adams Street. A jury convicted Childs in October of murdering his parents, his 13-year-old sister, his 18-year-old brother, and his brother's 19-year-old almost full-term pregnant girlfriend. A 15-year-old brother who ran out of the house was shot twice but survived.
I cannot comprehend the darkness in your heart at that time that led you to commit such an unfortunate act on January 24th. What I do know is that our lives changed forever on this date, and you robbed us of everything we had.
Childs told the families in a packed courtroom that he is not the killer.
Just as I sit here 4 years ago, I'm innocent. It's not a day that goes by where I don't think about them or wish that they was here. Even on my bad days, I tell myself that they're still here.
The judge called the murders calculated, cunning, and cold-blooded, sending Childs to prison for the rest of his life. So the 360-year prison sentence breaks down like this: 55 years for each of the 6 people murdered, including the unborn baby, and 30 years for the attempted murder of Raymond Childs' 15-year-old brother.
The evidence in this case could fairly be characterized as overwhelming. There was cell phone evidence, he was caught with the murder weapon, and most compellingly, his own brother identified him in open court, and it would have been nice if he had expressed some remorse about what happened.
Everything that he said, I believe. So, I don't too much believe justice was served, but I do hope that they do find the real people that did it.
The justice system decided he did it. Rich Knight, 13 News.
And Childs plans to appeal his conviction. During testimony today, a doctor said that Childs suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder due to a childhood filled with complex trauma from abuse and domestic violence.
I want to give a heartfelt condolences to this family and to these victims. With that being said, what do you guys think? Did this young man really kill his family? I mean, it's damn evidence. He got caught with the gun and his little brother ID'd him. But he stands before the world and tells the world that he didn't do it. And he got family members who believe that he didn't do it. Get in the comment section and let me know what you think. Is this guy's the monster that they portray him to be? Or is he as innocent as his family members say that he is?
Everything that he said, I believe. So, I don't too much believe justice was served, but I do hope that they do find the real people that did it.
Wow. Thank you for watching Prime Crime Network, your source for urban and suburban and around the world news. Hit the subscribe, like, and the notification bell